This bill is basically directing courts and law enforcement agencies to protect certain rights of law-abiding citizens. It also protects law enforcement and our constitutional rights. So I'll move for adoption and stand for questions.
Representative Lowe, Jason, you're recognized for a question on the bill.
What exactly is your law or your bill doing that's changing the current law?
The bill states that if there's an order from the federal government that firearms, accessories, or ammunition is to be confiscated, that state officers, municipal officers, and county officers will not be allowed to assist.
Leader Virgin, you're recognized to ask a question on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative, in some domestic violence cases, there will be an order issued by a judge requiring the defendant in that case to relinquish their firearm to the sheriff or to some other law enforcement officer. Would your bill prevent those orders from taking effect?
No, they would not.
You're recognized for a follow-up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And how would this not nullify those orders?
This bill is to protect law-abiding citizens. If you're in a domestic situation and law enforcement's called, then by all means, if there's any firearms in the house, that they should be confiscated until that case is taken care of.
You're recognized for another follow-up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While I hear what you're saying, the language of the bill, that it says that any court order ordering the confiscation of firearms is guaranteed. That would be prohibited because it would violate the Second Amendment. So I'm not seeing how those orders would be protected. Can you help me out on how specifically this would protect those orders?
Well, your Second Amendment protection, it doesn't cover you under any criminal act that you're doing, as far as like domestic abuse or robbing a bank, whatever you may be doing that is illegal. So they would still have the right to pick up firearms in those situations.
Leader Virgin, I'm going to recognize you for one more follow-up, and then I'll ask you to get back in the queue, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is this bill an attempt to say that the state of Oklahoma will not comply with federal law?
No, it is not an attempt to say that we wouldn't comply. It is an attempt to protect, number one, law enforcement, who has asked that I run this bill to protect them in case an order from the federal government comes down, that they do not have to violate a constitutional right and they cannot be retaliated against. And no, it is not an attempt. It's simply a bill that if the federal government orders this, then our constituents can rest assured that we're not going to violate their Second Amendment rights.